Hello everyone, this is part 2 of What If Naruto Awakened New Skills, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Why did you stop? Asked Naruto. He's hardly more than an animal, I really couldn't abide being around him, replied the voice. They were heading for the demon with Sasuke, Neji and Shikamaru. Okay, well, any tips on beating him? Asked Naruto. Actually, yes. Summon Naruto, he should take him out without a problem, then I'll teach you a jutsu to seal Shukaku completely, freeing the host from his influence, said the voice. Sounds good to me, but why are you doing all this? Asked Naruto. For this particular one it's because I don't like Shukaku. As for the rest, whilst you were out I did some thinking and decided that since I'm stuck with you I'd rather not have you below your full potential, replied the voice. Okay, well thanks, replied Naruto. Sasuke, you can move faster than the rest of us, move on ahead and try and slow him down, shouted Naruto. Right, get there as quick as you can, replied Sasuke. When Naruto, Neji and Shikamaru arrived they found that Sakura had tried to follow and defeat Gaara but hadn't been very successful. Then when Sasuke had arrived he tried to help Sakura but Gaara had been too powerful. My gentle fist attacks won't work against him, his sand creates a barrier that stops them getting through, said Neji. I seriously doubt my shadow will hold him, he has too much power, Shikamaru confirmed. Okay. Well, don't worry about it. Once I've freed Sakura, grab her, Neji. Shikamaru, you grab Sasuke and get them the hell out of here. I can deal with this guy myself, said Naruto as he started to focus his chakra. Alright, good luck, said Shikamaru. Shadow clone jutsu, shouted Naruto, and in a puff of smoke 9 more Narutos appeared. Time to take out the trash and free Sakura, said one of the Narutos. With the aid of the demon chakra the Narutos were too fast for the bulky Shukaku and it struggled to take down 8, having quickly dispatched one which also sped to remaining 8 up whilst the 9th went to Sakura. Don't worry Sakura, I'll get you out of there, said the real Naruto. Fiend sleep jutsu, shouted Gaara forming a hand seal. What's he doing? Asked Naruto. He's putting himself to sleep so that Shukaku takes over and controls the body, replied the voice. Any ideas? He asked. Leave it to me, I'm going to implant some more knowledge into your mind. This technique will do 2 things. First, it will see through the sand barrier, and second, it will disrupt the chakra controlling the sand, preventing it from reforming, replied the voice. Naruto quickly performed 5 seals, then his hands glowed yellow and chakra blades formed on the tips of his fingers. He quickly s down each side of Sakura, giving plenty of space to make sure he didn't hit her. The sand holding her then fell apart, its chakra disrupted, freeing her. Neji, take her and get back to the village. I can't afford any friendlies, this could get dangerous, said the Naruto. Okay, come back alive, I still have to beat you in the Chunin exam, Neji joked. We'll see who wins, now go, said Naruto dispersing his clones. Neji picked up Sakura and jumped away on the tree branches back to the village. With Neji out of the way Naruto started building his chakra. Summoning jutsu, he shouted and a huge 8-tailed fox appeared beneath him. You must be the one that holds the fox god. Very well, I am yours to command, said the fox. Ha, Arasu, that you? Said Shukaku. Yes, it is Shukaku, replied the fox. Awesome, you can help me destroy this place then, said Shukaku. No, that won't be happening, Shukaku. My master here is the container of my god and this place is his home. It is the will of my god that I serve him in whatever he wishes to do, and his wish is to stop you, so I will stop you, explained the fox. Well, that sucks. Oh well, at least we can have a fun fight and try and draw it out, replied the sand raccoon. Also not going to happen, this is going to be quick and boring, replied Arasu. He then quickly charged forwards and Shukaku's side as he passed him. Alright, now, we need to wake the Jinchuriki to seal Shukaku's mind back inside. After that we need to take down the Jinchuriki to reseal Shukaku within his body, said Arasu. Never mind that, kid, that's the hard way. I'm going to teach you the seal to permanently seal and silence Shukaku away from the Jinchuriki. This seal can be stored in the palm of your hand as a small blue spiral, then you release it by placing your hand on the Jinchuriki's head and saying, seal. that will activate the jutsu. It may take a minute or two for it to work, but you can back off 3 seconds after you've said seal. After that, the jutsu will be in his body and it can't be counted. All that will be left is for the jutsu to take effect, said the voice. Then Naruto found he knew a new set of seals and exactly how to use them. Alright, thanks, now it's time to take him down, said Naruto, quickly starting the set of 15 hand seals to perform the jutsu. Go for it, kid, said the voice. Then Arasu made another pass of shukaku, but Naruto couldn't finish the seals in time to jump across, but as the large fox turned round he finished the seals and a small blue spiral appeared on the back of his right hand to mark that the jutsu was stored and ready for use, and as Arasu passed by the raccoon for the 3rd time, Naruto jumped off and headed straight for Gaara. While Arasu quickly spun and wrapped himself around the raccoon, latching onto his arms to prevent them from getting Naruto, to give him the time he needed for the seal to be implanted into Gaara's body. Seal! Shouted Naruto as he landed on Shukaku's head and swiftly placed his hand on Gaara's forehead. He then counted 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds. Slowly the spiral disappeared from its tip round to the dot at the center, allowing an extra second to make sure. Naruto then jumped back onto Arasu, who then quickly released his grip on the sand raccoon and moved out the way of his swing. What did you do? Cried Shukaku, obviously very panicked and confused by what just happened. Arasu, keep him focused on us. We can't take a chance that he'll figure out what we've done. I want him to think that the technique didn't work. Act as if you're trying to give me another chance to get on and wake Gaara up. Don't get hit, but leave enough so that I shouldn't get the opportunity to jump across, said Naruto to the fox. Okay, this won't be easy, but I'll do what I can, and I do appreciate your concern for my safety, replied the fox as he again charged at the raccoon but moved slightly away as one of the demon's claws swiped at him, avoiding the hit and ensuring that Naruto was unable to jump across to Shukaku's head again. He continued this for around a minute and a half till Shukaku suddenly stopped. Oh, said the giant raccoon as he suddenly disappeared and Gaara fell towards the floor. Naruto quickly jumped off Arasu and caught the still waking up Gaara. Thanks for your help, Arasu, you can go now, said Naruto, laying Gaara on the floor. Thank you, glad I could help, replied the fox before disappearing in a puff of smoke. Gaara slowly regained consciousness. Ah, what happened? He asked. I resealed Shukaku inside you. You can still access his chakra, but he will no longer be able to influence you. You will be able to sleep soundly from now on, Naruto informed the Sand Ninja. How did you know his name was Shukaku? He doesn't normally tell people his name, asked Gaara. You aren't the only one with a demon sealed inside them. Only difference is mine is willing to help me. That's how I knew the seal to stop him affecting you. Add to that you only fight for yourself. You never stood a chance because having something to protect is what truly gives you strength, said Naruto. I'm going to KO you, you haven't beaten me yet, said Gaara, malice apparent in his voice. He then ran forwards and attempted to Naruto with a kunai. Yes, I have, Gaara. I can still summon Arasu again and your sand can't do anything because I already know how to beat it. Even if you could do something to me, I will always win in the end because I have people to protect, Naruto said matter-of-factly. Very well, I concede defeat. I cannot match that kind of power, said Gaara, dropping his stance. Good choice. Now come back to Konoha with me and we'll see about you and your siblings becoming official Konoha shinobi, said Naruto, turning towards Konoha. Alright. That sounds nice, said Gaara, walking up to stand behind Naruto's right shoulder. They then moved off towards Konoha. Naruto and Gaara had picked up Kankuro and Temari on their way back to Konoha through the forest, and they arrived on the wall that surrounded Konoha where Sasuke, Sakura, Shikamaru and Neji were. Upon seeing the 3 sand shinobi Sasuke, Shikamaru and Neji instantly got into battle stance, Sakura still being unconscious, to which Temari and Kankuro also got into a ready stance. Relax guys, they're going to join Konoha, there's no need to fight, said Naruto, waving his hand. The Konoha ninja remained wary but dropped out of their stances, as did the Sand Ninja. But first things first, said Naruto, picking Sakura up. We need to take Sakura to the hospital. He then jumped off the wall and the rest of the Leaf and Sand Ninja followed. Okay, now that Sakura is safely in the hospital, we need to get an Anbu member to escort these 3 to the Hokage, said Naruto. He then pulled out a kunai and attached an exploding note to it and threw it into the air. Once it got above the height of the hospital, it exploded. Less than a minute later, 2 Anbu arrived beside them. Take these 3 to the Hokage, They wish to defect to Konoha, said Naruto. One of the Anbu had been one of the 4 on the roof of the Hokage's tower and had witnessed them take on Orochimaru. He decided to argue. All right, but what are you going to do? He replied. I think I better go and speak with Hashi Hyuga. He isn't going to be happy to hear that his bloodline and the Uchihas are both derivates of the Uzumaki bloodline and weaker ones at that, said Naruto. At this Neji and Sasuke nodded in agreement. Alright, well I think I'll go and talk to our senseis and let them know what's happened, said Shikamaru. Very well, we will take these to the Hokage, said the Anbu, and with that they moved off, Shikamaru heading for the front gate to locate their 3 Jonin sensei Guy, Asuma and Kakashi to let them know what happened, and Neji lead Naruto and Sasuke to the Hyuga compound. Shikamaru arrived at the part of the wall that had been blown in. He was met with devastation. All around where the bee of sound and leaf ninja, bee was spattered everywhere, walls were covered, and instead of the ground being its usually yellowish brown of sand, it was the crimson of bee, completely covered, with bee pilled on top of each other, and more were being pilled on with each passing moment as the Jonin and Chunin moved the bee from other places and put them on the largest of the piles that had already formed. Shikamaru ran up to one of the Jonin pilling bee up near a nearby house. Hey, have you seen Guy, Kakashi or Asuma? He asked the Jonin. I did see Guy and Kakashi heading for the main gate, but I haven't seen Asuma for a couple of days now, replied the Jonin. Shikamaru thought he looked somewhat like an older version of Kiba but couldn't be sure. Alright, thanks, Shikamaru said as he started running off in the direction of the main gate. Meanwhile, Neji, came the sound of a girl's voice. It was light and soft. Neji, Sasuke and Naruto stopped on the building they were on but couldn't see where the voice had come from. Then from the side of the building someone jumped up and landed on the roof in front of Neji. The girl had short dark bluish purple hair. She had on an overly large grayish jacket and black 3/4 length trousers with the dark blue sandals that most ninja wore. Hinata, what are you doing here? Asked Neji curiously. I heard someone mention that they'd heard you'd gone after Orochimaru with Sasuke, Naruto and Shikamaru, so I got a bit worried and came to see if you were alright, she said. It was then that she noticed his eyes. What happened to your eyes, Neji? She asked with more than a little concern in her voice. Yes, we took on Orochimaru, and gave him quite the beating. As for my eyes, Naruto did it. His Kekkei Genkai has been awakened and it has the ability to unlock the full potential of the Byakugan and the Sharingan. Can you awaken hers as well, Naruto? Said Neji. Sure. Look into my eyes, Hinata, said Naruto. Don't faint, he's just going to help you become more powerful. Oh, I hope he sees how I feel, thought Hinata. Naruto looked into her eyes and started channeling chakra into his own, repeating the same procedure he had done with Neji. She loves you, kid, came the voice in his head. How do you know? Asked Naruto, a little miffed, thinking it was just winding him up. 3 things. First, her heart rate skyrocketed the moment she heard your name, and even more when she started looking you in the eye. It's a wonder she's still standing. Second is the scent she gave off as soon as she saw you. She wants you bad. And third, you can see it plain as day in her eyes, said the voice. Okay, so what should I do about it? Asked Naruto. Realize how you feel about her. She'd be an excellent mate for you. Once you've realized your feelings for her, everything else should fall into place, replied the voice plainly. What do you mean? Realize how I feel about her? I don't understand. Said Naruto, a little confused. Just search your feelings, you'll see, replied the voice. Naruto started searching his feelings for all the girls in the ninja squads. Sakura, hot as hell, but she always hit him, just lust really. Ino, no way, looks aren't what he likes and she gossips way too much. Everyone would know everything. Hinata, always shy in the background. Whenever he saw her, she'd be looking at him, and occasionally he'd even found himself trying to catch a glimpse of her. No matter what anyone else said, she always seemed to encourage him and have absolute faith in him that he could never fail. And yes, everyone seemed to be able to get a little stronger when he shouted encouragement to them, but she always seemed to gain far more, as though she just wanted to do the very best she could just for him. Then it seemed to hit him like a sledgehammer to the face. He really cared for her. No, it was more than that even. He wasn't sure, but he thought he might love her, and now he could see it in her eyes. She loved him. Alright, it's done. I'll let Neji explain the new functions of your eyes on the way to the Hyuga compound, said Naruto, but his voice seemed a little different now. There was a feeling in it, but she couldn't quite tell what it was. Then she realized, she could tell what it was, but she couldn't believe it. They carried on jumping across the rooftops. Hinata paid as much attention as she could to Neji, much as she would have preferred to disappear into her own little world. She knew she needed to know what difference it made to her, and according to Neji her eyes had also gained pupils and had taken on a light blue hue, not far from the brilliant blue of Naruto's own. Back with Shikamaru. Gai-sensei, Kakashi-sensei, I have news. Naruto is back and it would seem he has a Kekkei Genkai now and it's fully awakened, said Shikamaru running up to the two Jonin standing by the main gate. You're telling us the Fuengan is once again active? Asked Kakashi in a plain voice, but his eye showed his happiness both at Naruto's return and that he'd managed to activate his Kekkei Genkai. Yeah, and he's already fully advanced Sasuke's Sharingan and Neji's Byakugan. He said that Neji's was maxed but Sasuke had another level beyond it. Hey, how'd you know it was called Fuengan? Shikamaru seemed very surprised. I'm one of three that knew of all of Naruto's secrets, one being the fox and another being that he was the last in the line of the Uzumakis and had the potential that he could someday activate it. Where is he now? Replied Kakashi. He's on his way to the Hyuga compound with Sasuke and Neji, said Shikamaru a little curious. Right, well I better get going then. I'm going to need to be there because Hiashi will just try and pass it off as some cheap trick, and with that he vanished in a puff of smoke. Thanks for bringing us this information, Shikamaru. I'll pass it on to your sensei and the other Jonin, said Guy before disappearing as well. Great, what am I supposed to do now? Said Shikamaru to no one in particular in a very bored voice before jumping onto a rooftop and running off. And now we return to Naruto and the others just as they reached the Hyuga compound. The look on Hiashi's face is going to be a picture. Anyone got a camera handy? Asked Naruto, his trademark smile going from ear to ear. No, but I wish I did, replied Neji with a small smile on his face. Once Neji had finished his explanation, Hinata had dropped to the back of the group and somewhere along the way Sasuke had moved forward to beside Neji whilst Naruto had moved back to beside Hinata, and along the journey they appeared to have gotten quite close. If I were you right now I would not stand so close, we aren't going to want to give him any more reason to blow up at us, said Neji as Hinata blushed crimson and took quite a large step to her left. Then they walked through the large steel gates and into the Hyuga compound. As they entered they could see all around them branch family members training in the gentle fist style. Naruto and Sasuke quickly activated their Sharingan to gather as much information as possible on the gentle fist style and see what they could incorporate into their own. Of course this was a far easier task for Naruto as his Byakugan was also active, allowing him to copy every technique around him in an instant as well as see the way they worked in relation to the chakra points. Soon they arrived at the main building and walked up to one of the doors. Sasuke, Naruto and Hinata stopped and Neji walked up and knocked on the door. Sir, I'm here with Naruto Uzumaki, Sasuke Uchiha and Hinata, we must speak with you, said Neji. Enter, came the gruff male voice of Hiashi from the other side of the door. Neji grabbed the left side of the door and slid the door to the right. Neji, Sasuke, Naruto and Hinata walked in and then Hinata turned round and slid the door closed behind her. What is so important that you came here and brought them with you? Said Hashi with his eyes closed, referring to Naruto and Sasuke. If you had bothered to open your eyes farther you would already know why we are here, said Hinata. Seemingly gaining worlds of confidence just by sitting by Naruto. Hiashi opened his eyes and shortly thereafter his mouth when he saw their eyes. The two pairs of now pupilled and hued Hyuga eyes, Sasuke's Mangekyo Sharingan and Naruto's brilliant blue with almost unmarked irises. Unmarked other than five-sided stars that formed a pentagram within his eye that denoted the Fuengan Kekkei Genkai, and Hiashi knew the significance of it. Like the rest of the village he thought the Fuengan Kekkei Genkai of the Uzumakis had been wiped out as it always had to be taught out and no member had ever been able to spontaneously activate it without the help of another member of their clan, that is until now. So you have activated the Fuengan, and for the first time in 1,000 years you have used it to increase the power of both the Byakugan and the Sharingan, said Hiashi closing his eyes again. Very well. You will now have the full backing of the Hyuga clan. And Neji, come forward and kneel before me. Neji stood up and walked in front of Hiashi. He then knelt down in front of him. Hiashi then closed his eyes and focused his chakra. He then made 5 hand seals in rapid succession and opening his eyes said, "Dispel." Now Neji, your caged bird seal has been removed and you are part of the main household. Come and see me tonight. I have a letter from your father for you. Sasuke, the Uchiha and the Hyuga have never previously gotten on, but I know Neji holds your skill in high regard. You are always welcome here, and I hope that this brings in a new era of friendship between our clan and you, the last Uchiha, and your future clan. Thank you, Hiashi. I am glad that the past of our clans was one thing that is with the rest of my clan, and rest assured I will be the last of the true Uchiha until Itachi is S. Only then can I look to rebuilding my clan, replied Sasuke, bowing low. Neji had been shocked but now spoke. Why have you removed my seal? He asked. Because this is a new era and our clan needs you to be able to learn all our techniques. Though I cannot make you heir, I am sure you are worthy of the status of being a main branch member. Do not trouble yourself with the clan elders, I will deal with them myself, replied Hiashi. I think it's time we left. Thank you for your backing, sir, said Naruto, getting up and bowing. Very well, I look forward to watching your progress. I am sure you will do well, said Hiashi. Hinata and Sasuke got up and bowed to Hiashi and then followed Naruto out the door. Once outside, Sasuke said, I'm not sure what to do now. All my plans have gone out the window, but I have a feeling that we'll be called to see the Hokage soon enough. You're probably right. Why don't you go and let Sakura know what happened, said Naruto. Yeah, alright, I'll see you later, said Sasuke. Then he jumped up to the wall that bordered the Hyuga compound and away on the rooftops of Konoha. So what do you want to do now? Naruto asked, and Hinata nearly fell over in shock. He wanted to do something with her, and he wanted to know what she wanted to do. She managed to regain her composure. She thought about everything she dreamed of doing with Naruto if she had the chance. Then she realized that in all the trouble and excitement she'd forgotten to eat and was actually rather hungry. I'm not sure, get something to eat maybe, she said, hoping that it would be okay with him. Sounds great, I think we'll go to a restaurant I know, shall we call it a date? Naruto replied, and as soon as he asked Hinata if she wanted to say it was a date, she fainted. She couldn't believe her luck, her first real date with Naruto, and he had asked her. Naruto spent the next 10 minutes trying to bring her round and keep her conscious, as every time he brought her round she remembered that she was about to go on her first date with Naruto and fainted again. When she was finally awake again, they got going. They jumped onto the wall and off onto the roofs. They traveled around 4 streets into an area with some quite expensive restaurants, and when Naruto and Hinata jumped down and walked over to one of the most expensive restaurants, Hinata fainted again, and again for around 15 minutes. This time Naruto had to keep bringing her round for her to faint again. Finally she was awake and they walked into the restaurant. We will not serve you, so you might as well go, said the waiter to Naruto, the malice in his voice apparent, before he saw Hinata. So you won't serve the escort of a member of the Hyuga clan? Come on then, Naruto, I guess we'll just have to go and tell my father that I couldn't get lunch whilst he trained Neji and Hanabi, said Hinata, and the waiter's jaw immediately dropped. He started stammering as he tried to apologize profusely when he saw Hinata. I'm SS sorry mom, I didn't realize he was with you, please come this way, said the waiter. If I find that you've treated him this way ever again, then the weight of the Hyuga clan will crush this restaurant. Naruto has their full backing, said Hinata, and despite her firmness her voice was still soft. Understood mom, I will inform all our staff and it will never happen again, replied the waiter. Now that that's settled, what can you recommend for today? I'd like something not on the menu. I'm sure your chef knows at least a couple of dishes, said Hinata, still with a firm voice. Actually, I think I know one that may be of interest. It was a dish the chef made on the request of the 4th Hokage. Would you like to try it? Asked the waiter whilst seating him at a table for 2. Yes, I think that will be fitting, said Hinata kindly. Naruto and Hinata small talked until the food arrived, just talking about the weather and the attack that happened earlier. When the food arrived they sat silently eating, although around halfway through Hinata somewhere found the courage to manage to start playing footsie with Naruto under the table, which surprised Naruto, but he was more than happy to return the gesture. And the events of Sasuke. He jumped from rooftop to rooftop. He had one destination in mind, beyond that he had no idea where Sakura might be. But he would find her. As he traveled he thought about her. She was a beautiful girl, but he couldn't afford a relationship. It was too risky. Anyone that was too attached could get in the way when he went after Itachi, and that wouldn't do. Anyone who wanted to be close to him had to be able to let him go and stay out of his way. He knew Naruto could. Even if he was there he'd just cheer from the sidelines and like everyone that knew Naruto well. If he was cheering for you, you couldn't explain how, but you always got stronger, and he knew that Naruto would only step in when he was S, and only God could help Itachi at that point. He knew that Naruto was far stronger than him, particularly now, and since Naruto had all the skills of the Mangekyo Sharingan and the Byakugan rolled into one with a few bonuses added to that, and with the nine-tailed fox sealed inside him, there was virtually no limit to his chakra stores. Before he knew it, Sasuke was at the street with Sakura's house and her parents' shop on. He jumped down from the roof and walked over to the shop. He saw Sakura inside and knocked on the window. She looked round and saw him, a warm smile forming on her face. He still couldn't deny she was pretty, but his mind was still too set on his goal to give it a second thought beyond, well, maybe when I'm done with Itachi. She then walked out of the shop. Hey Sasuke, what's up? She asked warmly. How are you? He asked. Better since you saved me and took me to the hospital, replied Sakura. It wasn't me that saved you, I was as powerless as you were. It was Naruto, it was also him that took you to the hospital, said Sasuke looking down. Oh, is there any other reason you came by? Asked Sakura. Actually yeah, I'm here to fill you in on some recent events, replied Sasuke. Auto FN, I'm leaving this here and moving somewhere else. I'm pretty sure you don't want to hear the same story again, and I sure as hell can't be asked retyping it. What happened to Kakashi? He appeared in the main room of the Hyuga house in a puff of smoke. As it cleared, he could see Neji and Hiashi Hyuga but no one else. Well, it would appear that I'm a little late, he said, stepping out of the smoke. Sorry for the intrusion, Hiashi, he continued, bowing. You say it as though it's something unusual, Kakashi. I have already spoken to both Sasuke and Naruto. I am hopeful that we will see a new age of cooperation and friendship between the clans. Naruto has been given the full backing of the Hyuga clan. I didn't tell him, but this will include when it comes time for a new Hokage, although I have a feeling he won't be the fifth Hokage, although it would have been ironic if he had. Oh, and Kakashi, please remember that you are always welcome here as long as you are using the doors, replied Hiashi. Right, sorry about that, and thank you for your assistance to Naruto. I'm sure my sensei would be thanking you as well if he were here. I'll be going now. You wouldn't happen to know where Naruto or Sasuke went, would you? Asked Kakashi. Actually I would. Sasuke has gone to find Sakura and tell her what's happened, and Naruto took my daughter to lunch. I think they make a wonderful couple, Hiashi said with a knowing look to Kakashi. Thank you again for all your help, Hiashi. I think I'll go find Sasuke and Sakura, said Kakashi before disappearing in a puff of smoke. Did you forget about Shikamaru? Well, I didn't. Now to see what he got up to. Man, where the hell could Asuma-sensei be? He muttered, jumping from rooftop to rooftop. Oh well, might as well go and find Ino and Choji and tell them what's happened, he said, changing his direction and heading for the flower shop that Ino's parents owned. Arriving at the flower shop, Shikamaru went in. He saw Ino in the far corner arranging roses in a vase. Hey Ino, listen, can you spare some time? We need to find Choji. I've got something I need to tell you both. He asked. Sure, Shikamaru, Ino said. I'm taking off for a while, she shouted. All right, see you later, they heard from the back of the shop. Then they walked out into the street. Now let's go and find Choji. Any idea where he is? Asked Shikamaru. As a matter of fact, I do. He's at the Big Beef Grill restaurant with his dad, replied Ino. Okay, shoulda known that you'd know. Okay, let's go get him, said Shikamaru. Ino nodded and they jumped onto the rooftops and away. Back to Naruto and Hinata. They walked out of the restaurant and were greeted by an Anbu Black Ops squad. Naruto Uzumaki, you are to come with us, and judging by the difference in appearance of your eyes, Miss Hyuga, I think it would be best if you came along as well. Don't worry about Sasuke, Neji and Shikamaru, we've dispatched teams to pick him up too. The third Hokage wishes to see you, said the leader wearing a squirrel mask. Very well, let's go then, said Naruto. Then Hinata and the 4 Anbu members moved off to the Hokage's tower at great speed. 5 minutes later, Naruto and Hinata walked along the corridor to the Hokage's office. As they arrived, the 3 sand ninja emerged wearing leaf head protectors where their sand ones had been. So the 3 of you are part of Konoha now, that's good. Hopefully see you around later, Temari, Kankuro, Gaara, said Naruto. Yes we are, and I think we shall definitely be seeing each other, said Gaara in a voice that had a strange hint of happiness to it, to which his siblings were quite surprised to hear. They then carried on and Naruto and Hinata walked into the Hokage's office. Naruto, I'm glad that you've finally been able to awaken your clan's legendary abilities. As you saw, even Orochimaru is sacred of them. I also see that you have enhanced Hinata's Byakugan, and I understand you have enhanced Neji's Byakugan and even Sasuke's Sharingan to Mangekyo Sharingan. I intend to inform the village of what you have done and the Kekkei Genkai you have, said the third. No, don't tell the village. It might not be fair on the rest, but it's more trouble than it's worth for me. If they heard I had even had a hand in defeating Orochimaru, they would immediately think that the fox was starting to take control of me. No, I'd prefer the village not know I had anything to do with it, and besides, Hashi has given me the backing of the Hyuga clan, so that should make life a little easier, replied Naruto. During the course of the conversation, Hinata had moved forward and to the side of Naruto, and by the end of it was holding his hand. The third had noticed this, but taking what Naruto had just said into account, he realized that chances were that Hashi would actually be very pleased with this. Very well then, Naruto, the village will not be told. Now all that remains is for the rest to arrive, said the third. With Sasuke and Sakura. Sasuke had just finished telling Sakura everything that had happened. He had also switched his Mangekyo Sharingan off, so Naruto has a Kekkei Genkai. Your Sharingan has been advanced to a higher stage of it called Mangekyo Sharingan by Naruto, and he has also enhanced Neji and Hinata's Byakugan. Sakura was repeating what Sasuke had just told her in short to make sure she had heard him right. Yes, said Sasuke. Just then Kakashi appeared in front of them. Well, I finally found you, Sasuke. I hear Naruto activated your Mangekyo Sharingan and that his Fuengan is active too, is that right? Asked Kakashi, to which Sasuke's only reply was to look him in the eye and activate his Mangekyo Sharingan. Okay, so I heard right then, said Kakashi. Then three Anbu appeared. Kakashi-senpai, Sasuke Uchiha, Sakura Haruno, please come with us, the Hokage wishes to see you, said the Anbu wearing a rabbit mask. Alright, let's get going then, said Kakashi. Sakura and Sasuke stood up, and then the two genin and four Anbu disappeared. To Shikamaru. No way, so Naruto has a Kekkei Genkai and is now even more powerful than Sasuke or Neji? I can't believe that, Shikamaru, said Ino. That Naruto, he sure is something, said Choji. Just then four Anbu appeared around them. Shikamaru, Nara, have you told these two about what has happened? Asked one of the Anbu. Yes, replied Shikamaru. Very well then, Shikamaru, Nara, Choji Akamaiki and Ino Yamanaka, you are to come with us, said the Anbu. Alright, let's go see what the Sandaime wants, said Shikamaru, and with that they all disappeared. 10 minutes later, in the Hokage's office. Now that everyone has been assembled. First and foremost, Naruto has asked that the exact details of these incidents remain hidden because, as you all know, he contains the spirit of the nine-tailed fox, and many of the older villagers can only see the demon and not the Naruto we all know. As such, I would ask if anyone here would have an objection to me doing the same thing as when the four genin teams were assembled here to be told of the demon within Naruto, said the Hokage, thinking back to that day just after the completion of the forest part of the Chunin exams. Flashback begins. The senseis had finished congratulating their teams on passing the Chunin exams so far, then they each brought their teams to the Hokage's office. Now there is a very good reason why you've all been brought here. It is in regards to Naruto Uzumaki. What I'm about to tell you does not leave this room. All of your senseis have agreed that knowing this will not affect how you treat him, and this information is classified as S-class, said the Hokage, very solemnly looking at the genin assembled before him, including a very worried-looking Naruto at the back. As you all know, 12 years ago the nine-tailed fox attacked this village. You were told that it was defeated and led to believe that it had been K. That is not entirely true. Yes, it was defeated at the cost of the fourth Hokage's life, but it could not be destroyed. Instead, it was sealed within the body of a newborn child. It was the fourth's wish that this child, like himself, would be treated like a hero. However, the people of the village did not hold to his wishes, instead only seeing the demon instead of the child. That child is Naruto, said the third. All of the genin except Naruto looked shocked. Naruto hung his head, expecting to see the same stares of hatred and disgust as he saw from the rest of the village. Then he felt something he hadn't expected, a hand resting on his shoulder. He looked up. You know, Naruto, we already know you couldn't be the demon within you. After all, I doubt a demon would have such an aptitude for practical jokes, said Sasuke. The looks on the rest of the faces in the room emulated the same sentiments. You are our friend and comrade. We will not fail you when you need us most. Thank you all. I am glad to see that I have made the right decision in telling you, said the Hokage. End flashback. No, Lord Hokage, I don't think anyone here would have any objections. We have all seen the looks the villagers give him and have often heard him be referred to as the demon brat, and this to them would only confirm their suspicions, said Neji. Yes, I think that this should also be an S-class secret. We'll leave it to you to decide the cover story, said Shikamaru. But what about Kiba, Akamaru, Shino, Ten and Bushy Brows? They should be told as well, said Naruto. Very well, Naruto, the arrangements will be made for them to be informed of the events and the details of their classification, said the third. Now you may all go, except you, Naruto, I need to speak to you, he finished. Then all except Naruto, Hinata and Kakashi left the room. I see, said the Hokage. Very well, then I will inform you as well, Jiraiya, said the third, and the Sannin appeared next to him. Yes, sensei, said Jiraiya. Now then, I have decided that it is once again time I retired, and I believe that Tsunade would be the best person to take over the position of Hokage, said Sarutobi. But Lord Hokage, we have no idea where she is, said Kakashi. That's why I want Jiraiya to take Naruto and go and look for her. You have 2 weeks, said the Hokage. I have one request, I want Hinata to come with us as well, said Naruto. The third seemed to think about this for a few moments. Very well then, take her as well, and Jiraiya, she's a Hyuga, so treat her well, said Sarutobi. Understood, Sarutobi sensei, said the Sannin. He then turned to Naruto and Hinata. You two go home and get packed. Meet me at the front gate in 2 hours, he said to the genin. Okay, Ero Sennin, let's go, Hinata, said Naruto. What have I told you about calling me that? Screamed the Sannin to Naruto and Hinata's backs. Take care of him, Jiraiya. I'm counting on you to look after your student's legacy, said Kakashi before vanishing. Outside the Hokage's tower, Naruto and Hinata were walking away from the tower and heading for the Hyuga compound. So if we go and collect your things and then go and get mine, said Naruto. Okay, and Naruto, said Hinata. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.